This is Stanley, Idaho. I was raised up in these mountains, the Sawtooth Mountains you're looking at there. Salmon River. And I'm sitting in a natural hot tub that it's got a sand bottom. It doesn't get any better than this. September 2nd, I don't even know. I'm back in Idaho, though my post will be a little jumbled whenever this gets posted. I'm up here doing some what I call mountain therapy, just getting grounded after 3 months on the road. And I don't know if you can see me very well, but you can hear me. Just enjoy the view. The road trip was fantastic. I basically crisscrossed the United States in 3 months, saw a lot of people, saw a lot of old friends, went to a lot of places I've been wanting to go, made note of places I want to go back to and spend more time. 3 months was just about enough, so I'm just back and got to Boise a few days ago. Coming up here to actually performing a marriage for a couple tomorrow. I've got my minister's license. I'll stay here for a few days. But I'll be talking about my road trip, posting pictures. It's good to feel the peace and serenity up here of the mountains. And I always call it mountain therapy. I did it back when I lived in Los Angeles. Wherever it was, Idaho always brought me home, and I'd come up here to the Sawtooths or go somewhere just to spend a few days, and it just puts everything back into perspective. Heard me say many times this last year, I'm going to be getting more specific. We are going through world changes right now. Big, big changes. You've got to have your head pretty much buried in the sand down here to not see them. There's many people, I've said this too, beliefs are going to be turned inside out. Everything, from religious to spiritual to business, people we've looked up to, from religious to spiritual to business to government, are going to turn out to be who we don't think they are. Well, it's going to go upside down. A lot of good's going to come out of it, because what's happening is it's bringing people together. And this is where we need to go eventually. We are all one. Now, we're going into the Labor Day, 3-day weekend, and there's going to be a lot coming up after Labor Day. So I've said this before, find your peace, find what grounds you, find what resonates with you to keep you calm. So when life throws storms at us, whether that's screaming kids, whether that's bank statements, whether that's the government, politics, or religion, you have to find your peace some way. Because that is what will get us through what's coming ahead. Now, I'm talking everything. The elections, there's changes. Look at what everything from the Me Too movement to the elections to the chaos going out in our country to the worldwide demonstrations that have been going on for a couple of years now that, unless you're doing a little digging, the news isn't really reporting on it, but there's massive worldwide demonstrations going on. So there's change, and it's people tired of everything, and they're coming together. There's still going to be people who are clinging on to their old beliefs. And let's talk about the United States here. And I'm not talking conservative versus Democrat. In a way, that's happening. Yes, that has to happen. But we are all one. People ask what I am. I'm a realist. I voted Libertarian last election, but I'm a realist. So I'm not really talking from one side here. I'm talking about common sense. I've always been a common sense and truth seeker. Questioning everything. When you do that, the truth starts to emerge. Your truth, what you see. And there's not peaceful demonstrations going on around the country right now. There might be a few, but they're riots. There's looting. There's vandalism going on. Cities are on fire. People are being killed. People are being pulled out of their cars and beat up. You have to have your head really buried in the sand or involved in some or really be so attached to a dogma or a political belief that you don't see that or you justify it. And that's okay too. Because eventually you're going to be faced, each individual one of us is going to be faced with a choice we have to make. And we have to make a choice. And this all comes out to being one and helping our fellow man and woman. It's all going to boil down to that, us coming together and showing peace and compassion. because there's a lot of hatred in the air right now. There's a lot of division. And it's going to get more and more through the election. So I said this, be prepared and just live your life, but also find your peace. Find where meditate. If it's fishing, if it's sitting by the mountains, something like this, do it. Because the news is not telling you everything. People are being arrested. There's chaos in the streets. I just got off 3 months of a road trip. I saw, and I posted this, what the mainstream news is saying and what's going on out in the real world are sometimes two different things. It's like two different universes. It's really weird for me to see and then watch the mainstream news. But I know because I've been digging and I keep up on my news. So there are many of you that still are going to be attached to that belief of whether that's a Democratic or Republican belief, and this is the way it is, and boy, it's got to go that way. Black Lives Movement has to be. People got to burn up the mayor's house in Portland, or people got to be beat up for the cause. Well, you can think that way. That's okay. But eventually you're going to be forced to make a decision, and it's going to be going down a bad road. It has to be peace, and it has to be compromise coming up. Peace and compassion. That's the only way this is going to go. But there's going to be a lot more chaos to come. So I've said this over and over, and I'm beating a dead horse, is find your peace. Find what works for you to be calm during the storm. We're in the middle of it right now. We're in the middle of a civil war. It's a more civilized civil war, but it's going on online, and if you take a look around the country, you're seeing it. As I said again, cities are on fire, movements there's a lot of things going on. It's anarchy and chaos in a lot of the big cities. That will end. It's going to come to a conclusion, but it's got to play itself out because many people are starting to see that now, and they're starting to realize that they've been getting fed into that, and they've been feeding into that fear. From the virus to the riots to the elections, people have been feeding into that fear, and they're keeping that fear. And what does fear do? It keeps people easily under control, and it keeps them separated. But there's many people now that are starting to realize they've either had too much, or they're just saying, I'm done with all this, and they're finding an alternative route, maybe more peaceful, maybe helping their neighbors, maybe seeing above what's really going on, which I've talked about. So the powers that be that want to keep this fear and chaos going are losing control of that. So this is what's happening. People are waking up, and they're coming together. I don't know how more specific I can say this without giving real details, but those details are coming soon. But there's arrests going on, behind the scenes, all sorts of stuff. You just wait, watch it play out, but it's after Labor Day, it's going to get a little bit more crazy. So I'm going back to this piece here. I've got this place for an hour. Stanley, Idaho. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.